This is the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I can be on the right path, not as a candidate for president at this time.
Governor Palin makes her intentions clear on 2012, and reaction from Palin supporters pours in. We will talk with a member of Team Sara about the big decision, one that shocked many. Out of the blue, in pure Palin style, the governor announced her plans for 2012 this past week.
I can be on the right path, not as a candidate for president at this time.
Palin appearing on Mark Levin's syndicated radio show, she went on to explain her choice to stay out of the presidential sweepstakes this time around.
I do want to assure people that this has been prayerfully considered, and my family and I, with great discussion and literally family prayer over the situation.
Palin also issued a written statement to supporters, and supporters followed up with strong reaction, many very upset. That night on Fox News Channel, the governor spoke to her backers directly.
I apologize to those whom are disappointed in this decision. I've been hearing from them in the last couple of hours.
That was Palin on the Record with Greta Van Susteren. Now, while many remain down, others are taking the smart approach and understanding Governor Palin isn't going anywhere. There's still a fight ahead, and she'll play a pivotal role in it, just not as a candidate. In the governor's statement, she says, quote, "I believe that at this time I can be more effective in a decisive role to help elect other true public servants to office, from the nation's governors to congressional seats and the presidency," unquote. She went on to say, quoting here, "Know that by working together, we can bring this country back. And as I've always said, one doesn't need a title to help do it," unquote. Something for Palin supporters to hang their hat on. Now, one group that has played a large role in promoting Governor Palin since 2008 is Team Sara, a coalition dedicated to advancing the values that Palin represents in the political process. And they are still up and running and ready to forge ahead on the heels of the 2012 announcement. Jackie Siciliano is the senior community guide for Team Sara, and she is here on SaraNet Radio to offer some insight on how supporters are dealing with Palin's decision. Plus, we'll discuss what's next for Team Sara. Jackie, thanks so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for the invitation. I really do appreciate it.
Now, the big news, of course, is Governor Palin announcing she will not enter the 2012 race for the White House. But before we talk about that specifically, I first just want to let folks know more about Team Sara. Can you tell us about the group and what you do? I know you just reached a big anniversary.
We did. We just really reached our third anniversary. Team Sara was launched 3 years ago by the Susan B. Anthony List, which is based out of Washington, D.C. The Susan B. Anthony List, of course, their mission is to promote life. And part of what they do is they vet candidates. They promote candidates who also have that conservative position. And when Sarah Palin came onto the scene in 2008, you know, she certainly was a candidate that the Susan B. Anthony List could support. And as a result, they created this group, which, you know, immediately drew thousands and thousands of people to it. It was as far as I know, the first site to support Sarah Palin. But more than that, it really has supported the values of the conservative movement. And because it is more issue-oriented, meaning we support small government, we support family, life, free market, all of those issues that are important to conservatives, you know, I think that we've reached a broader audience over the last 3 years.
Now, I know not much time has passed, but what's been the feeling of Team Sara members since Palin decided 2012 was a no-go? I noticed a lot of people on social media and elsewhere really broken up here, really distraught. Is it more that sentiment, or is the group resolute already to keep the original goal in mind, and that's making sure not only what you just said about pushing the values and the ideals that you believe in and Sara believes in, but also making sure Barack Obama is a one-term president?
Oh, exactly. That's the number one goal, and of course, Governor Palin has certainly articulated that to those people who do support her and that are her boots on the ground. I think like what we are seeing in the social media, when you have over 78,000 members in a group, you're going to have people that have different feelings. Certainly there are a few people that are extremely disappointed, and they, have decided to move on for whatever reason that they choose. However, Team Sarah did send out a broadcast to all of our members, an email, letting them know that, we are still in this fight for the values that we represent. And, certainly Governor Palin is still representing those values. All we have to do is look back in the not-so-distant past to the 2010 election and look at the success that she had with the endorsements that she made. Her batting average wasn't 100%. I don't recall exactly what that percentage was, but a great number of candidates that she chose to support certainly came in on election night. We have a member that's running for Congress out of Connecticut. We've had members that are running at the local level. So I think that's really a positive influence that Governor Palin has had on these people.
She didn't have, 100% success, like you said, but I think a lot of that, too, with candidates is she doesn't just endorse those that are a shoo-in to win. So even the ones that she lost, a lot of people, like, for example, the race in Alaska, were names that we never heard of before, and she put some folks on the map. So that speaks well to what you mentioned about, the power of Palin.
Well, you're exactly right. And, of course, with Sarah Pack, with her supporters, what happens in that particular instance when she does endorse exactly someone, I'm in New Jersey, there's a certain candidate in California or Alaska or any other state that I might not be familiar with, but all of a sudden I'm paying attention to that person. And certainly I know many others are as well.
One of the things I really like about your group compared to some other political volunteer outlets, and I think you've demonstrated that in a lot of your answers already, is you always keep it positive. I don't see these illusions of grandeur within Team Sarah or people just, offering lip service and little else. Team Sarah, 3 years now, consistently has promoted the governor's values in a positive manner, and you always seem to have the group in mind. Is that done, with a purpose?
Well, it definitely is. I mean, every member is important. Their contributions are important. There really aren't any big dogs at Team Sarah per se. We try to work quietly behind the scenes. We want to make a difference, and I think that's really what's important.
Team Sarah always signs the emails, the tiny team behind the team, and I think that really resonates. Regular citizens who know Sarah Palin is exactly what's right with America, volunteering to spread a message.
And that's it. We are a tiny team, and we've worked together for 3 years now. And to build relationships with people that live in different states that you've only spoken with over the phone, or you've got your Yahoo instant messaging system up and you're in contact several times a day, that builds bridges.
Jackie, when I saw The Undefeated for the first time, it was in New York City this summer at a screening, and Team Sarah made their mark there. There were T-shirts, buttons, bumper stickers, and it really created a lot of excitement waiting before Steve Bannon let everybody in to sit down and meeting up with some of the others there. Now that the governor isn't running, will the way you promote the group change at all, whether it be, getting merchandise out there or the way the website's set up, the way you contact people? I'm assuming no by that email that we all received saying, hey, look, Sarah's out, but she's still around and we're still fighting.
No, at this time, there really isn't because, again, as long as I can remember, and I've been a member of Team Sarah since about, 2 weeks into launch, I recall very clearly. It was in very early October. I was listening to the Bill Bennett radio show on Sirius Patriot Network, and Janine Turner came on, and she was being interviewed. And Team Sarah, I was like, boy, I love Sarah Palin. This is going to be great, and I can't wait to get home to see what this is all about. And very soon thereafter, I took a leadership role. But for as long as I can remember, our mission statement or our description of Team Sarah has been that we're a diverse coalition of Americans who are dedicated to advancing the values that Sarah Palin represents in the political process. Now, while we don't have Sarah Palin the candidate, we do have Sarah Palin who is still representing those values. why should anything change?
You mentioned Janine Turner. It was Jerry Thompson for me.
Oh,
So.
oh, okay, yeah, it was
So
definitely Janine Turner for me, but exactly.
I think we all have that little story there because it was funny. I remember back in '08, I think I jumped on pretty early, not as early as you, and I remember people saying, "Oh, how'd you find out?" and whatever, and everybody had their own thing. So.
Right, everybody has their story. Either
Yeah.
someone told them or they heard it, from Jerry Thompson or Janine Turner. Those ladies were out there really, really promoting Team Sarah, and we're thankful for that.
Yeah, and both of them right now contributing on some broadcasts. Janine Turner with her own show in Texas, and Jerry with her program with her husband. So, they're still out there getting things done as well. Let me ask you this finally, Jackie. Assuming the governor endorses a candidate for president that shares her core values, which will likely be the case unless she doesn't endorse anyone, will Team Sarah back that candidate as well, or will it just be kind of will you stay out of that type of thing?
At this early point in time, that's a difficult question to answer. It really is. I feel that we will. However, again, this particular site is owned by the Susan B. Anthony list, and again, they do vet their own candidates, and they do spend money to promote those candidates. But I have a very strong feeling that Governor Palin's vetting and the Susan B. Anthony list, their vetting, will probably end up on a same or at least a similar page for sure.
Well, fortunately, and hopefully this could soften the blow a little bit for those, upset about Sarah not making a bid for the White House. I think we do have a couple of declared candidates that do share the values, and at least we're not sitting here saying, okay, we're going against Obama, but we have to pick one of these media hand-picked candidates. I think the early straw polls and early votes have already showed that the media will not be picking the nominee.
Well, the one great thing about President Obama being elected in 2008, people are sitting up, they are paying attention, and they are more informed than they've ever been, I think, in my life. And I'm about the same age as Governor Palin. And I got to tell you, like a lot of other people, I was, doing some work, raising my child, involved in just my everyday life. And I stood up, I paid attention, and it certainly, led me down a different path than I ever thought I would be going down 3 years ago. This is important for our country. It's very important for the future of our country.
You are absolutely right as far as the Obama election. I mean, there is an opportunity here for a Reagan-Bush quail type, 12-year type thing because of this president. The Supreme Court's the bad news. That's the only bad news about him being elected. But other than that, you're right. We may never see a Democrat again in the White House, and certainly not one this far to the left. But Jackie, listen, thanks a lot. I think y'all are doing a bang-up job, and your group has been a great place for Palin supporters to find fellowship and really make an actual difference. I think it's great, and I am really happy for you that you'll continue to keep it up, push the pro-life, pro-Palin stance, and who knows, perhaps we'll see the governor run for office down the road, but really, like she's been saying, you don't need an official title to make a difference, and I think the Team Sarah members have proven that.
Well, certainly Governor's going to stir things up over the next 13 months, and I think we're going to have a lot of Team Sarah members that are going to be stirring it right up there with her.
Jackie, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Kevin.
Jackie Siciliano, Senior Community Guide for Team Sarah. Check out Team Sarah online at teamsarah.ning.com. During a speech focusing on faith and family this past weekend, Sarah Palin called for the restoration of America. The governor spoke at the Extraordinary Women Conference at Liberty University. The theme for the Evangelical Christian Women's Conference was Extraordinary Hope. Palin referred to herself as an unapologetic pro-lifer. The visit was Palin's first to Liberty, and hotels sold out for the event. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. Be sure to visit sarahnet.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin, our radio show, plus plenty of articles from yours truly and our SarahNet contributors. Also, follow us on Twitter at SarahNet Radio. I want to thank everyone here at SarahNet Radio. Thanks to Jackie Siciliano. And thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.